The teams are coming on the ice behind us. Team Canada will arrive shortly. There they are now. The flags are waving. The crowd's really into this, Billy, and it's going to be awfully tough for Team USA to turn the tide.
I think they will have to do it on the strength of their power play, Rod. Really, they're having such a tough time along the boards. I think Team Canada will try and take away the middle of the ice, and if Team USA doesn't capitalize on their power plays, it'll be over.
All right, Bill Clement, thanks. We'll talk to you in the second period. The summary for the first period: Mark Messier with the first goal, his second of the series. Theoren Fleury with the assist at 13:39. 20 seconds later, Steve Larmer the goal. Team Canada outshooting the Americans 10-6. They hold a 2-0 lead heading into period number 2.
CTV's coverage of the 1991 Labatt Canada Cup is being brought to you in part by Canadian Tire. Canadian Tire is a proud sponsor of Canada Cup. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire than tires.
Well, Team USA has never beaten Team Canada during the Canada Cup, and Team Canada has not lost in this tournament yet, so the odds are against them. Let's go upstairs to John and Don.
Thank you, Rod. A very important jump for Canada in that first period. It took them till 13:39, though, to score. Messier quickly from Fleury and Desjardins, and then 20 seconds later, Larmer from Harachuk made it 2-0. Not insurmountable, but it certainly had a wearing effect on the United States.
Oh, you just said wearing effect. The amount of ice time that Mark Messier is getting, Joel Otto was on the ice a lot against him, Don. And what's happening here is Joel Otto is tiring somewhat. With Messier playing so much and at such a high tempo, it's hard to defend one person against him. Otto's last 3 shifts were 35 seconds long, 30 seconds long, and around 19 seconds long. That tells you that the pace has been so quick, led by Mark Messier, and Mike Keenan realizes that, hey, he's got a thoroughbred, whip him, get him going.
Ironically, it was Wayne Gretzky who persuaded Messier to come to the camp at the last moment. Turns out that Messier is picking up the torch for Gretzky in his final game tonight.
Now, early in the first period, it was fast action. There was rushes going both ways. It was just fabulous to watch. But that was Team USA's game. The coaches upstairs for Team Canada, Tom Webster and Tom Watt, radioed downstairs and said, hey, listen, hold it here. Enough of all these rushes and all the scoring chances off the rushes. Let's start playing mucking hockey. Start being strong along the boards and in the middle and along the corners and all that stuff. And they did. And now it's 2-0 Canada. They cannot, the Canadian club do not want to get into a shootout with a high-powered scoring team like the American club.
Messier against Otto in the draw to begin period 2. Otto digs it back to suit around the defense. Chelios a little careless there. Messier ready to pounce on that. Canada wins control with McInnes driving it in. Around to the near corner for Brendan Shanahan. Comes away from Chelios with a glove save by Richter. The first test of the second period.
That's for Shanahan now. 4 shots on goal in this game. He hit 3 shots in period 1. Brian Sutter, one of the assistant coaches for Team Canada, met with a number of the grinders prior to the playoff games, prior to the Swedish game, and said, listen, you guys are the key to winning this tournament. And he was talking about Shanahan and Tocchet and Sutter and Corson and these types of players, and they have been grinding, and it is showing.
Messier with Shanahan and Fleury. Chelios in behind the net with it. He comes across the blue line, but right there to intercept is Messier. It trickles back to McInnes on the far boards in the Canadian zone. Otto taken down by Theo Fleury. They'll talk about this when they get back to the Calgary training camp, among other things. Messier at center ice, dumps it off on the left to Fleury down the near board. Shooting! Richter stops that. Rebound comes out. Swept away by Chelios. And he clears the zone with a pass ahead to Joel Otto. Otto, after 45 seconds, will head for the bench and make the change. The puck slides all the way back around to the neutral zone.
Just about every shift. In fact, I'd say every shift that Otto's been out against Messier, Otto has left the ice first.
There's a shot wide from Hatcher. Al McInnes, Canada's premier defense player, ahead to Coffey. Giving it off to Messier at the blue line and flicking it down. Now Messier will get his break. Desjardins gets twirled around inside the zone. Tocchet carries on. Now Tony Granato feeds Badano on the left wing. He has Roenick with him. That shot is blocked by Desjardins and cleared across the blue line. Ranford lets it go through to Sutter against is counterpart Granato. The other 21 on the corner. Desjardins digs it free. Modano is there. For Tony Granato. Modano shooting, and Ranford got a piece of that. Here's the rebound for Hatcher. He lost balance. Ranford regains his. There'll be a penalty call here to Canada when they regain possession. The goaltender comes out. The extra attacker comes on the ice, LaFontaine. But Canada collects the puck, but there'll be a man short and a Canadian penalty. This is the Labatt Canada Cup on CTV. For interference at just 1:57 of the second period.
Don, this is the best shift of the game so far by the Roenick line. And Kevin Hatcher moved up on the play, so you can see 4 white jerseys right around Ranford. However, they did not get a clean shot. The penalty is taken in front there, right in front of Ranford.
Yeah,
we said in game 1 that the power play is the key for Team USA if they're to get involved in winning this thing. And so far it has sputtered. The penalty killing for Team Canada has been aggressive. It's been strong in front. The puck pursuit has been very good. You can't say a bad thing about it.
LaFontaine, Hull, and Olczyk with Suter and Chelios. That's the power play for the United States. Harachuk is out there, along with Tenorti getting a shift. And Scott Stevens. Here's Hull shooting. Blocked by Bill Ranford. Still loose in the corner. Chelios takes a bump into the boards there. But solid check, but they keep it in play. Wide of Ranford's net. Larmer will use the boards to beat Harachuk. He gets a break. Harachuk going in. Harachuk gets turned around and can't get a shot off. A minute and 22 remaining in the penalty as LaFontaine accepts the pass. Feeds Olczyk. Centers it across. Hull shooting, and a great stop by Ranford there. Now Chelios. Feeding it across to Suter. Dribbles it in front for LaFontaine. He steered it wide. Good pressure by the United States for the first time in a long, long while this power play. A minute to go on the penalty. Suter shooting. Blocked in front. Chelios can't get a shot away. Great work by Canada in that tight box in front to block these United States scoring attempts. Centering pass from Olczyk goes through the crease. Cornwell can't get it away from LaFontaine. Here's Suter, deflected for Olczyk in front. Stevens clears it down the ice. 40 seconds to go on the penalty. Both teams will change. The U.S. with perhaps their best chances of the night to get back in the game right there.
Chris Chelios just missed a pass to Modano, which would have sent him in on a breakaway. But with the missed pass, it becomes icy against Team USA. Scott Stevens, always noted as a tremendous penalty killer because of his strength, because of his ability to hit people. Here Mike Keenan looks like he's trying to settle down the penalty killers. Stevens moves across to Pat LaFontaine, takes the shoulder. Oh, baby, did he get nailed. The box for Canada, you could either call it the square box or if they try to play the diamond. But they spread out somewhat and they get lost. Watch how they get lost. Running around, they're being aggressive. And now there's no such thing as a box. You can see 4 players right across the goal line. And the Americans moved the puck around for the first time on their power play in 2 games, and it looked better.
Coffey shooting it behind the net. Wolanin brings it forward for the U.S. with 24 seconds remaining in the sentence to Eric Desjardins. Modano playing it for Jeremy Roenick. Back to Mike Modano. Hatcher keeps it in. Bouncing puck. Modano in front. They score! Jeremy Roenick scores for the United States. 12 seconds to go on the penalty. It's 2-1.
The first power play goal for Team USA in this Canada Cup final. Now Jeremy Roenick's line drew the penalty to Desjardins, and Jeremy Roenick is a key part of this power play goal. It's quick puck movement again. Miller and Roenick have the puck on the near side, or pardon me, Modano, and Modano with a pass across to Roenick. This Team USA, Don, during this power play, not standing around. It's constant movement, and they got Team Canada moving around. And they didn't know where the players were. They were darting in and out, in and out. Finally completed a couple of passes, and we have a 2-1 game.
Suddenly we're there, boys. Suddenly we're there.
Coming up on 4 minutes. Smith had to be careful there in front. Larmer gets a chance against Wolanin. Larmer going in. He shoots. That's blocked by Richter. And Richter will kneel down and stop the play. A 2-1 hockey game. Canada leads. This is the Labatt Canada Cup on CTV. Jeremy Roenick from Modano and Miller. The combination on the goal for the United States.
Great pass through the seam by Modano to Roenick. Roenick had 94 points last year playing in Chicago, and he plays a lot bigger than his 170 pounds.
Janney against Hrychuk. Hrychuk kicks that to the United States corner. A suddenly revitalized American team is drawn within one here at a game they must win to survive in the Labatt Canada Cup. Janney circling, now will back out to center ice with a pass. Desjardins intercepts. It is on the stick of Shane Corson. Larmer trying to get in front, falling as he slides to the net, and they knock it loose. And a collision there with Craig Wolanin.
Wolanin holding up Larmer as Larmer was driving to the net. One thing we haven't seen in this game, Don, and it's a credit to both hockey clubs, is we have not seen a retaliation or reaction penalty. And in a game of this magnitude, tempers, keeping them in check, becomes very, very, very important. Mike Keenan's club's got to realize now that all of a sudden this American power play starts to look pretty good. The Roenick line starts to look pretty good. So they've got to find a way to counter that.
Even though Canada's got some great goaltending from Ranford, he is not invincible. And we found that out as the power play did penetrate for the first American goal a few seconds ago.
Little things become big things. Face-offs become important. Every face-off. Concentration, alignments. You see Otto moving out here as he waits. Lindros steps in.
Corkle and Graham with Lindros. Stevens will let it go and hit the pipe. Hit the far goal post. Now for the United States, Joey Mullen brings it down to Canada's zone. The centering pass. And that's just turned aside on the short side from Suter. Stevens. Murphy for Canada. Corkle now across. Dumping it back. Lindros tied up. Weak shot goes wide of the mark, and it comes back over the blue line. Stevens for Lindros, away from Otto. Eric Lindros shooting from the angle that tested Richter. The Americans now come to center ice with Mullen. Brown circling in there as Canada comes away with it. Brooke Graham. Lindros and Corkle going inside. The shift has got to be tiring now. The defense players change. Forwards await their chance to go. Mullen. Graham does get to the box, fakes the shot, now lets it go. That misses on the short side. McInnes against Brown. Big Lindros trying to help out in there. LaFontaine sweeps the puck away for the United States. McInnes with a check on Brown. Ranford past LaFontaine, but Hatcher carries on. Now Coffey wears it right off ball stick. LaFontaine makes the pass. Still loose, hold to Hatcher. Americans dangerously circling in the Canadian zone, but the puck will slide back to center. Coffey hits the blue line. Around Hatcher to the corner for Robitaille against Weinrich. Back to the near side boards. LaFontaine digs it out to Hull. They hit the line 2-on-2. Now free. Hatcher comes in. Hull to Olczyk. He shoots. Ranford blocks that. McInnes gets the rebound. And back comes Messier. Messier against Weinrich. Messier forced off. Taken down in the corner. Weinrich took him off his feet. Play goes right on at center ice. They go end to end in furious second period action. Hull shooting. And Ranford got a piece of that. 13:21 to go. Somehow it is still 2-1.